I vowed back then to always never forget those individuals, but to try to provide for those individuals if God gave me the opportunity to be financially stable where I could, right? And so now that I've been very blessed in a lot of ways, every year, especially during the holidays, I always want to reach back and not forget about those kids that a lot of people overlook.
But sometimes we just need to take a step back and exactly what Roderick says, things we take for granted is luxury for someone in the group home. So
Hmm.
exactly like what Roderick said. I've been to one of
Hmm.
those and
Hmm.
it was very touching. Like,
Yes, definitely.
just a haircut.
Yeah.
And they're,
Hmm.
whoa, what is
We
this?
gon' do it like it's priceless. Take it to the moon. Priceless. One day will be soon. Like it's priceless.
Happy holidays, everybody. So today we're going to do a holiday special. And I got a special guest I'm going to bring on today. And so he was on here before, big philanthropist, love him to death. I'll introduce him here in a second, but just to give you a little background about this episode. So about 2 weeks ago, he always throws a charity event every year, and I've just been so crazy busy that we used to throw our own kind of charity event for children, but this year was going to be very tough just because our new clinic's getting built out and all that. But anyways, I reached out to Roderick, and he's the one that was on a previous episode where he brought in Howdy Ice Cream. Real big philanthropist. I love this guy. And that's kind of how we met, was through philanthropy. But anyways, I'm bringing him back because I called him and said, "Hey, Roderick, what are you doing this year? Because I don't think I'm gonna be able to kind of throw one myself, just because this year has been a very, very tough and busy year." So he actually told me a story. It was very heartwarming, and I'm gonna let him tell the story, but just the gist of it, so that we'll keep a little suspense, is this is going to be the first year that 20 kids will have Christmas without their parents. Just think about that for a second. Think about how lucky we are, you know, looking at wish lists and all that, when you can have 20 kids. Yeah, I'm not the type of guy to cry, but oh man, when he told me the story, it was very tearful. But I'm gonna bring him in, and I'm gonna let him tell the story. Okay? Hey, Roger, welcome, brother.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good, good.
Yes,
How's
sir.
life? How's
Oh,
life?
man,
Good. Life's good.
I can't complain at all.
All right, my brother.
I can't complain at all. Oh man,
So,
I'm glad you have me back, man.
oh yeah, absolutely, man. I just love what you do. So, for those who haven't seen the previous episode, let me just give a quick background on Roderick. So he's a native, Estonian native, grew up in a tough environment, but through it all, he persevered. Super successful businessman, but he never forgot his roots, which is the philanthropy, and that's kind of how we met. And he, even during Hurricane Harvey and all that, he raised a lot of money. He brought Howdy Ice Cream to Katy. Support his business. For those who don't know about Howdy Ice Cream, just real quick, their philosophy is to give children or adults that have autism, Down syndrome, whatnot, a purpose in life. And this man right here brought that ice cream store to Katy, and he also helped bring it into HEB. That is amazing. And HEB, I think, just gave you a grant too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, $10,000.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, he is. If you think I'm busy, this guy is always on the go. I don't know how I can catch him today, but so anyway, so let's take off from where I talked to you guys about. So basically, I called Roger. It was on a Saturday. I kind of asked you what you were doing, and then
Yeah.
so take it from there, Roger.
Yeah. So it's always a blessing to be a blessing to others, And so, like you said, you called me and kind of just vented about how you do so much for the kids, which you always have for many years. And this year was a challenge. So I share what I'm doing for kids this year. And this is my 4th year doing it. Every year I pick a different group of kids, but this year it's particularly special to me because of the circumstances that these kids are currently in, you know. So to back up, I have a nonprofit, Katie Angels. This is the shirt. I'll be remiss not to shout out my partners, Ariel and Jake, but um, Katie Angels is a nonprofit that just gives back to those in need or those that may be experiencing any kind of hardship. And so for Christmas, we chose 20 kids that are in group homes, and they're in group homes here in Houston, away from their families because their parents have gotten either their rights terminated by the state or something tragic that has left them essentially without family. And so talking with the group home leaders, they expressed how the holidays is always a challenging time. It's very expensive, you know, to put on
How old are
for
these
kids.
kids?
These kids range from age 3 to 15 years old,
Okay.
so it's a wide range, and so they're in various homes. I think 4 homes to be exact, and you know, just speaking with the mom, well, the group home leader that plays mother to these kids, she really expressed how it was just a challenging time of the year because, of course, she wants to provide as much as she can for these kids, but financially, it's a struggle. And so what Katie Angels is doing is we're adopting these 20 kids. We're bringing them to my residence. We have barbers coming to cut their hair for free. Los Cucos Mexican restaurant donated all the food for over 80 individuals, and they're sending their staff.
Wow,
We
awesome.
have a Games for You 18-wheeler coming, so the kids can play video games. We have bounce houses, snow cones. Howdy Ice Cream is donating ice cream. And most importantly, when they come in the house, they see a big Christmas tree with a lot of gifts under it, and they think it's my kids because I have a 4 and a 6-year-old. But the gifts under that tree are theirs, and so we asked them to submit a wish list. In a perfect world, what would you want Santa Claus to bring you? And so they all submitted 5 items, and so we purchased 3 out of the five items per child. And we're gonna wrap them, and at the very end of the program, Santa Claus will call their names, and then they get the gifts. And so it's just a experience that is unforgettable for them and us. And so a lot of my neighbors come and volunteer their time, but it's great for my kids to see such an experience because, like most of our kids, they're spoiled. We get them everything they want to need, but you forget that there's a lot of kids during this time of year that are not as fortunate as ours, and they're wondering if Santa Claus would even appear, right? And so we're going to ensure that they do have a memorable Christmas. And from the help of individuals like you who donated to the cause, it makes it easy to make this happen. And so thank you for that, man.
Oh
Thank you
yeah,
thank you for that.
absolutely.
Thank you for
Well,
that.
we'll talk about that at the end.
Mhm.
But tell me, how did you even get involved with that? How did you know about these kids? and-
Yeah. Well, so back up. So when I graduated from college, my very first job was an investigator with Child Protective Services, and so I investigated serious child abuse, child injuries, and even child deaths. And so I've always had a heart for kids that were abused and neglected. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of these kids have mental illnesses and you know, disabilities, and that's why parents are a little more on the abusive side with these kids because they feel like they can't speak. Their IQ level is low, so when they go to court, their testimony can get annihilated by a defense attorney. You know, so a lot of kids with verbal issues or disabilities are the ones that are being abused. So that's like my heart. Kids with special needs, one, that's why I have Howdy Homemade and hire individuals with special needs. But two, just kids in general. And so working for CPS really like gave me a deep insight of like what a lot of kids go through and how traumatic a lot of these experiences are with kids in abusive situations. So I vowed back then to always never forget those individuals, but to try to provide for those individuals if God gave me the opportunity to be financially stable where I could, right? And so now that I've been very blessed in a lot of ways, every year, especially during the holidays, I always want to reach back and not forget about those kids that a lot of people overlook and make excuses for and say it's their environment that they live in, and that's, you know, why they have to suffer the way they do, because no kid was asked to be brought into this world, right? And so I feel like it's unfortunate that a lot of kids get overlooked and passed up because of the environment that they have to grow up in. So like I said, this is the 4th year that I'm doing this, and every year I hope it gets better and stronger, and more people like
But this
yourself
is the
jump on.
first year where all the kids,
Mhm.
this is their first Christmas that they would not be spending with their parents.
Correct. This is the first year.
Wow.
So most of these
Powerful.
kids, like one child that's gonna get up and give his testimony, he gets to see his mother 1 hour a month, and he's from San Antonio. So a caseworker drives him to San Antonio once a month for 1 hour, and he gets to have one-on-one interaction with his mom, because the mom is going through a program where she's trying to regain her rights back.
Yeah.
And so in the process, she does get 1 hour a month with that child. So there are some kids that do get to see their parents, but it's something as minimal as that, like an hour a month, right? And they can have no communication outside of that. So yes, essentially, this is the first year these kids are going to go through a holiday season with no family. And so their family are the kids that live in that group home. And so hopefully this 2-hour experience can kind of uplift them and give them.
How are those kids picked? Like, is it like the 20 kids in like 4 different group home? I think is what you said. Does that include every single kid that's in the group home, or
Yes.
they kind of pick?
So the ones I picked are the 4, because I personally know the lady who is over those group homes. And it's weird how I met her. I had an event at Howdy Homemade, and she bought the kids, and so I just happened to be there, and I asked her, like, "Whoa, it's a lot of kids you brought in here. Like, what program is this?" And she told me, and so I comped the ice cream that day, and I made sure that they didn't have to, ever pay for ice cream at Howdy. But I got to know her on a deeper level as to why she wanted to go into such a business. Is it hard to get attached to a kid for 4, 5, 6 years, and then mom resurfaces because the state gives her rights back, and now she gets to have these kids again? Like, I really wanted to dive in, like, the passion behind that. And so me and her have formed a relationship, and so that's how I chose these kids. But in order to get into these group homes, the state of Texas had to basically they're awarded to the state, right? The parents have lost rights and lost custody, so Child Protective Services has taken over. Basically, they've taken over parental custody of the kids, and so now these kids are awarded to the state.
Wow.
Yeah. So if the group home leader doesn't provide, for Christmas, then there is no Christmas. And she's a great individual. She's going to try to do as much as she can, but with the assistance of individuals like ourselves, it does make it a lot easier.
Right. So tell our audience who, I mean, first off, I just want to, I mean, it's speechless. It's amazing what you're doing. And I'm always a big believer in there's a higher power that brings good people together, but that's just an amazing story. So for the audience that's listening, tell them how do they donate to this cause? Now, I know it's a 501, so it's a nonprofit,
It is.
So it's fully tax deductible.
Yep, it is.
So
it's called Katie Angels. So we have a website, katieangels.net. And
that's with an S?
Yes, katieangels.net. And then we have a donation link on there, right? And so you can donate, and we post lots of pictures. We always highlight what we do weekly, so you can see where your money's going. A lot of nonprofits, you donate to them and you don't hear from them. You don't see what they're doing. Right. So it's a trust factor. But with us, you really can see. For Thanksgiving, we bought 75 turkeys and sides and went to the community and gave it out to elderlies. For Christmas, we're doing a toy drive, a blanket drive. We're doing a small community in Katy that is an elderly centric population, and I think only 11 out of the 25 homes have AC and heat. So it's over 15 homes that have none. So we're providing AC and heat units for them over the holidays.
Oh, wow. So this is not just...
Yeah, no.
You're doing multiple.
Yeah, so Katie Angels
I did not know that.
Yeah, we my partner Jake has a big company called Lincoln Jacob Construction, and he does foundation. So there's a drug abuse home in Brookshire, Texas, called the Boaz House, and so they donated free foundation work, over $15,000 for a job like that, to the Boaz House for those ladies that are in a drug rehab program. We fix fences for families. We do stuff with the homeless community. So Katie Angels is multi-diverse. We do stuff all the time, but we do it out of our own pocket because, as you know, not everybody is as giving as you, right? A lot of people say it, but they don't put action behind it, and that's okay, because our goal is to keep shedding light on these various circumstances in our community, and hopefully one day people will jump up and donate and get behind, because not everybody has the time, but I do feel like we all have the means, and it could be $1, $5, $10, but I feel like everybody does have the means if you just really dig down deep, and so that's our whole goal is just
What is for this specific project? What is the goal that you're trying to reach
so
financially?
this is year 4. I've never taken $1 before this, simply because I'm a big believer on, if you really believe in something, you should put your money behind it and show people, right? And so I never wanted anybody to donate to me not knowing where it's going. So the first year I did 25 kids from CUNY Home Projects, and that's a project housing, Section 8 housing in Third Ward. Second year, I doubled it. I did CUNY Home Projects again because of how touching it was to see those kids and how they cried opening up something like a toy this big, right?
Right.
So it was like I couldn't forget about them. So I did that. I did them year 2, along with Garden City Projects, which is a project housing on the north side. So I did 50 kids. And then year 3, I did A-Leaf ISD, but the criteria was you had to live in a household with a combined minimum income of $30,000 or less. So, and you have to have special needs. So it was a special needs Christmas give back for kids that lived in a household that made less than $30,000 a year. And every year I spend 10 to 15,000. For of course year 2 with the 50 kids is around 20,000 or so. But if I keep it around 25 kids or less, it's around 10,000 for everything. And now, because individuals have seen me do it year after year, I am getting donations like the food. The bounce house this year is getting donated for the first time. I've gotten financial donations for the first time. So it's around 10,000 to make it
this happen.
To make it happen. Yeah.
So audience members, if you're listening, exactly what Roderick said. We may think that what we donate is not a lot, but if you can imagine, if everybody donated just $1, 10,000 people is easily done. So what I'm gonna do is this: for every dollar that gets, or whatever amount that gets donated, Crescent Urology Institute will match it up to $3,000.
Cool.
So that'll help kind of get you on your way. So regardless, Crescent Urology Institute is going to donate, but if your audience members listening is KDAngels with an S.net. Like I said, it's totally tax deductible. Whatever you donate, Crescent Urology Institute will match it up to $3,000.
And if you leave your email or some type of contact information, we'll send you pictures from the event with the kids holding up their gifts, and we'll share some testimonials. We'll share video, footage from the event, so you can see where your money actually goes. And it's a very, very, very touching event. So if you do support and you buy in, I think it'll be a touching way to feel fulfilled over the holidays.
Exactly. Yeah. And especially during the holiday season, I know everyone, is so many gifts to buy and all that. But sometimes we just need to take a step back, and exactly what Roderick says, things we take for granted is luxury for someone in the group home. So exactly like what Roderick said, I've been to one of those, and it was very touching.
Yes,
like, just a haircut, and they're, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
And so let's make this happen for KDAngels this year. Let's make these 20 kids have, they don't have the best, which is their parents. However, let's make it as close as we want, as close as we can get to there.
Correct.
And
that's the ultimate goal. And so it's fulfilling. Again, I just want my kids to see it. I want neighbors to see it. I just want people to see it, because a lot of times we do forget. We do forget how good we have it, right? And I don't like that we forget about those in need, because all of us have been there before we needed a hand, whether it's words of encouragement, whether it's financial assistance, whether it's a partner to jump in the fire with you and let you know it's okay, right? Those kids don't have that. And so I think it'll be remiss of me and a lot of others to carry on throughout life and not, um, offer that hand of assistance to them.
Right.
So,
No, I think, this world is a better place
mhm,
because of people like you
mhm,
and Katie Angels and your partner and all that. So once again, if let's make it happen for these kids. Katie Angels with an S.net
mhm.
is fully tax deductible. Whatever you match, whatever you donate, Crescent Urology Institute will match it up to $3,000, and I think that will help, you
Yeah.
know, uh, somewhat
Yes.
make this happen. This
Every
is gonna
dime.
this
Yeah.
is going to happen
Yes.
regardless, but
No. Yeah.
uh,
If I have to cover the entire 10, that's no problem. Again, I've done it many years. And so, but I'm very thankful. Katie Angels is very thankful for any donations. $1, $5, $20. It all goes to a good cause. It doesn't go to our pockets in any form or fashion. It literally goes to these kids in need. So,
right, and trust me, I've known this man for a long time. He has a very special place in his heart, and he grew up tough. It was a rough environment, and he through all that he persevere and he gives back. And this holiday season, I know it may be tough for a lot of people, but if you really look at it as life in perspective in general, exactly what Roderick
mhm,
just said, we tend to just forget
mhm.
how lucky we are when when you got people that they open a little present
Yeah.
or they get a haircut
Mhm.
and they're in
Exactly.
tears. And
Exactly.
so,
Yeah.
well,
So I'm very thankful to the barbers, Gerald, Mo, Laura, the stylist. They always come through. They stay there for 2-3 hours. I have politicians that come this year. It's oh yeah, so I have the exotic cars coming this year. So we always pull together 20 to 30 exotic cars. So my whole street is full of Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff. But it's fun because the kids get to sit in the cars, rev the cars, meet individuals that you may see on TV, but you get to shake their hand and interact with them for the 2-3 hour time. So it's fun. I have some surprises this year. Celebrities come in. It'll be an impactful event. I think it'll
right.
be
And
a
I
great,
guarantee
yeah.
you those kids are going to remember this the
Yes.
rest of their life.
Yeah, because I do. So I know they will.
Right.
It's something I look forward to every year. With all the things that I have and I go through in my life throughout a year, this is one of the most rewarding things that I do every year. So
That is
I
amazing.
can't miss it. Howdy Homemade, working with those individuals with special needs is touching. But this is also, I think, when you finally see how appreciative people are for the little things, it's humbling and it keeps you grounded. Because we get big gifts and we're like, oh, cool, because we kind of forget what it means to not have and for somebody to remember you and not forget about you and go out of their way to do for you. And so it's humbling to me. So every year that I'm alive, I want to do it.
That's amazing. And so I'll leave with this quote, always be remembered for what you did and not what you have.
Yeah.
And I think Roderick is a perfect example of that statement.
Mhm.
And so once again, www.angels,
Katie
Kate,
Angel.
I'm sorry, Katie Angels with an S.net.
Yep.
Fully tax deductible. Crescent Urology will match dollar for dollar up to $3,000. And let's make it happen for these kids. I know we can do it.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me
Absolutely.
again, man.
Thanks for
It's an
coming.
honor.
I
Thank
know
you.
you're
Thank you.
busy.
Yeah, thank you.
It's amazing
Yeah.
how I can catch this guy. He's always going doing something. So.
I'm just trying to catch up to you, man. I'm trying to catch up to you.
So,
it's a rat race out here.
But and when is
Yeah.
this event taking place?
December
Roger?
17th. So
December
we have 2 weeks left. 2 weeks.
Okay,
And
so there's 2 weeks left to make this happen, and I know we can do it.
Yep.
So how I would know is, so once you get the donation afterwards, it doesn't matter who it was because there's no way we can tell. But if you donate and you put Saw on the show, but regardless, Roderick's gonna send me the amount, and I'm gonna write him a check. We're gonna match it and make it happen for these kids. So 2 weeks, I think we can do this in a day.
Yeah, no, I think so too. You have a great audience, a great following. They're very interactive, so I think so. Then lastly, I want to shout out Jonathan from Fast Result Fitness. He stepped up, and so he has a surprise for me regarding this event. I'm meeting him tomorrow, so I'm thankful for individuals like him that want to partner and help out too. So it seems like it's going to be a great year this year.
Oh, it sounds like it's gonna be on. Well, I've been to one of Roderick's event that he did. I mean, it's very touching. You know, hearing him explain it, but actually being there, it's just, I don't know what it is. Like there's a higher power hand reaching down, touching you or something. But let's do it. Let's make it happen. 2 weeks. All right.
Yeah.
So last but not least, subscribe,
Yes.
and so that we can keep doing this and keep educating the public and keep up your good work.
do it,
and
man.
You're just an amazing person.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I love being on the show. So
We gon' do
anytime.
it like it's priceless. Take it to the moon. Priceless. One day will be soon. Like it's priceless.